what is going to be different when you enter into engineering? There are so many things which are going to change. The very first thing is the subjects which you are going to learn, and the purpose of learning those subjects. That is the very first change, and which one has to understand. Now, if we are still in the same process of scoring good marks or higher marks and all that race which we were following in 10th also, in 12th also, and in CET also, probably those things will slightly change, because at the end of 4 years, when you go for the career, then what happens is your score will matter up to a particular limit that you should have throughout first class or throughout distinction, nothing more than that. That will make you eligible to appear for the job as such. At least you can apply, right? Then the job prospects are not only dependent on your score, that even if you are, say, a rank holder, say 5th in the university, still it is not assured that you will be getting a good company, because the stages over there will be initially the aptitude test. Once that aptitude written test is over, then there will be interview which will be technical, and over there most of the students, they get exposed, because they still follow the same policy of scoring good marks, and that will hardly matter. Okay, what happens is, whatever branch that you are in right now, what are the expectations of any company or as an engineer, the expectations from you, those are to be understood very clearly, because there are so many fundamental things which students fail to answer, very fundamental things, and they come up with simple thing, I haven't seen it, I don't know, it was not there in the syllabus, and then these things don't work. They don't work. You will get a job, that's no issue, but that job will be on an average whatever other students are getting, even you will get it. If we want to be distinct, different from others, then we will have to follow a particular policy in these 4 years. And the most important is, what is the relevance of all these subjects which we learn in these 4 years. As many as 40 subjects you will learn, every semester 5 subjects. In 12th you had 6 subjects to be studied throughout the year. Now the general semester pattern is, there will be 14 weeks of college on an average, 14 weeks, that is 3.5 months. Then there will be 1 month preparation leave, in which from second year onwards you will be having practical exams, viva and whatnot, then the written exam, then there could be 15-20 days vacation if possible. That too in first year you are not likely to get any such thing. The day they start on 3rd August, it will probably straight continue till the second semester, because we are already starting late, and by the second semester they will match up with the schedule which is followed by the second year, third year. Only first semester exam could be slightly late, right? Now in first and second year, as per Pune University, what has happened, which is unfortunate thing, that every month, after end of every month, you are required to appear for the online exam, and that is going to be of 25 marks. What are the positive and negative points of that online exam? As an engineer, and I have been in this teaching profession for last 30 years, I find that there are hardly any advantages of having online examination, because it is like we are training the students for the short time memory, right? Because you study 2 units for a month, you appear for the online exam, in the next month you will study next 2 units, and there will be online examination for those 2 units, and then after the last month there will be a written exam which will be of 50 marks, out of which normally 25 marks are for first 4 units and 25 marks for the last 2 units. Now what is happening over here is, we already have lost the practice of writing the answers, because we are used to just online. and that too whatever the books which we normally follow, and I do allow students to follow those books in the first year, but that will be a bad practice from second year onwards, like something called as textbooks, which are published by some technical or Technova or Nirali publishers and all those books, they contain most of the things in the cut paste manner, and that's why the students even don't remember who was the author of that book. At our times we used to remember the books by the author. Suppose it is electrical engineering, it could be Theraja or Hughes, and we don't know who was the publisher, right? And whereas your generation, it says that I have followed Nirali, I have followed Technova, and we don't know who is the author. And that too, if you look at the authors, those are from different institutes. So some of them are really good, but normally it is just a what we say marketing policy, that we have one from JSPM, one from Sinhagad, one from some other college, so that all the students will feel like, yeah, this is a book written by my teacher. But those are cut and paste books. The moment you start referring to the reference books, you will find that practically from figures up to the text, everything is copied from there. Now what are the advantages? It is like you already have the notes, and which are just as per the syllabus. But as an engineer, we should not be studying the syllabus, but we should be studying the subject. That subject, learning the subject is more important. When you learn the subject, the syllabus will be automatically covered. I have restricted my teaching to only 10-15 students with the simple reason that I will be teaching the subject and not the syllabus. That subject, so I don't have the boundaries. Okay, so we can stretch a bit further, and we know where it is to be used, how it is to be used, where it is to be used, what is the relevance of these subjects in the next 3 years, 4 years, like that, and that too in career also. Sometimes we always say that yes, this is the formula which you will have to remember. There is no choice, because you will have to appear for the written exam or even for the online exam. If they just ask you the formula, okay, what is the range of the projectile thrown over the inclined plane, where the plane makes theta and a projectile is projected at an angle alpha, then in online exam we certainly don't have that much time to calculate the things. We don't have time. It will be half an hour exam, 20 questions, 30 questions. So howsoever intelligent you could be able to derive it, still it won't fit in that time. And our first aim has to be to score sufficient, if not full, right? So we will have to remember the things, mug up the things, there is no choice. And then we keep on blaming our education system, I will have to mug up. But it was not the story earlier. When we had directly 100 marks paper at the end of the semester, then you had that opportunity that even if you know the fundamentals, you could derive it. And that will hardly take time, because we won't be deriving it every step. One step you can miss 2, 3, you remember the next one and you will derive it and you can complete it. But in online you can't do that. And paper duration is 2 hours. The results are, all this has been converted to this particular format with the reason that students are not performing well in engineering. The failure rate is high. There is always ATKT, which is picked up by almost 40-50% of the students, 1 subject down, 2 subjects down, like that. And to improve the results, Pune University happened to be the strict university among all. We never had, till 10 years back, anybody scoring 85%, 90% in Pune University. No, in engineering, never. Distinction is at 66%, and above 70, 72, we hardly have 3 students, 4 students all over university. Okay, now because of that credit system, and you will be awarded that grade point index, SGPA and then CGPA. What happens is, suppose you score between 50 and 59, you are going to have the same grade. That could be B, C, whatever they say. And that means the one scoring 50 and one scoring 59 does not have any distinction. Whereas we used to fight for those 1500 marks in all the exam, and every mark did matter. Now they are just averaging it out. And your generation, I would say, is still better. After 2 years, when I will be teaching these students, those who have passed 10th now, at that time I will be having at least 4 students who have scored 100 out of 100 in 10th, right? Because there were 200 students scoring 100% marks in 10th. And that is ridiculous. So they are not that intelligent, right? And even our engineers are not that that intelligent, that they have something like 9.2, 9.5 as CGPA, cumulative index, and they come and meet me because their some brother or sister is going to take admission to engineering, and I simply ask, be mechanical ho? And the same routine questions which I even asked some of you, how does the cycle's front brake works? And they say, I am not good at kinematics. Array, you are saying that I am B mechanical, you say that my CGPA is 8.4, and you say that I don't know it, I haven't seen it. Then what could be the future? And we ultimately come down and say that now the standard is down. Syllabus contains everything, but we just keep our eyes closed. We are not bothered what is around. So most of you are from ENTC, right? 1 or 2 from computers. Computer engineers, they simply keep on blaming that our syllabus is outdated. Why are we still learning C, C++? Come on yaar, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? Because those are the languages which have got everything into them but nothing ready-made, right? Even mechanical engineers will always say, we are still learning the syllabus, the contents which are 70 years old, 80 years old. Yes, because unless you know those cycles, Carnot cycle, diesel cycle and all, how are you going to understand everything? We are not born with all that, right? So we will have to learn that. In mechanical, though we have some 6-7 subjects introduced, like mechatronics is there, robotics is there, some numerical methods are there, right? But we can't make space more than that. People sitting over here, and I have seen so many students, they directly want to say that I want to go into aerospace. You can, but then you will have to start even from the bicycle, right? How are you going to understand aerodynamics unless you have understood fluid dynamics, the basic features of it, right? And all this happens in such a way that we keep on scoring and we believe that we are simply good engineers. That is your belief, right? And we don't do anything practically. Though the practicals are there, you will find that once you enter the college, out of 30-35 hours per week, whatever they conduct, 50% are just for the practicals, right? In batches, the batch of 15, vagara, vagara. We take the readings. We are not bothered to check what will happen if the things change. There is some setup. Yes, that as a teacher, if everybody has to take a reading, I will have to have some basic thing. के यहाँ पे अगर ये reading आ गया, तो this is right. That means you have performed it well. You have not made any mistake. But then afterwards, we don't visit the lab. We don't see that equipment. We don't vary the inputs. There is always an input, even if it is a plumb bob or pendulum. We are taught that particular formula as what is the period, right? We will have to simply confirm it. So that pendulum would be of the whatever length is given, everybody takes the same reading. Why we don't change the length? Why can't we take one more pendulum and attach parallelly and just swing one and let it hit other and then check the oscillations? We can do it, and for that we don't require the college labs also. We can do it at home. Electronics people, they can even go for the microcontroller kits which are available like Arduino and all. Everything is there on the net. All the videos are there. What you are required to do is just simply take the multimeter, buy that kit, sit at home, check the things, make the connections and see whether they work. I know that we are not able to design that at this stage, fine. But at one day or the other, when you learn the things, you will very well understand. And even this Arduino part, I would suggest everybody, we don't have anybody from civil here, right? But otherwise, all other branches, even computer people, they should know how this particular Arduino and applications are. ENTC must know, mechanical people should know because mechatronics is there. And we just keep on waiting till that subject comes. We study it for the exam and we forget it. If some of you have missed the opportunity for NITs and IITs and we are planning to go for MTech after 4 years, and if we are going to prepare for GATE, then people start for the preparation of GATE when they are in third year, second semester, TE second semester or B first semester. By that it is already late, because the GATE syllabus contains everything that you study right from day 1 till your final year. And then you cannot just cover it up at that time. It's not possible, right? All maths which we are going to learn, M1, M2, M3, is there in the GATE syllabus irrespective of your branch. Programming part somewhat is there. If not C programming, there could be MATLAB, there could be numerical methods. All those things are there in the GATE syllabus. And then your subjects. Computer branch will have discrete structures, theoretical computer science, systems programming, microprocessors and whatnot. Whereas mechanical people will have theory of machines, heat transfer, thermodynamics, all those subjects in that. And we try to cover up all those subjects in the last year, which is simply not possible. So you will have to set your goal as how we want to be a good engineer, not the good score. Scores will follow. Scores आ जाएंगे, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता उससे. Even if we have 3-4 students ahead of us in our class, but our knowledge is much better than them, then that will hardly matter. We are already going to win that particular race, because every day will matter, every day, right? And we will have to keep the check, okay, whatever is going around us, what is the role of my branch into it, right? Now those who are from computer, you can be simply sitting here and you will say that, sir, what is there around us which is related to the computers? अभी क्या है यहाँ पे कि जो कंप्यूटर से रिलेटेड है? तो हाँ, अब ये जो सोच रहे हो ना, ये जरूरी है. And that too, everybody should think in the same manner. Electronics people, they can very well say कि हाँ ये कुछ mic लगाया है, there must be something related to it, there is a adapter here, receiver, this is transmitter also, right? Then what is the frequency? They say that it is FM mic. So what is the range of FM? Right? We have heard FM only in the radio Mirchi, like, right? FM so and so. But then this is not interfering with that FM. So that particular frequency is different. And the computer person will have to think that he is capturing the entire lecture. What will he do after that? Edit. Kaise? Using the computer. And then using the computer means computer won't allow it directly. There has to be some software written for it. And then who is going to write it? And we simply know the softwares which are like banking softwares. We know whatever your mobile. We know only that Android system. We have heard of it. But all that is related. Civil engineering people, they can again, they have everything around them for the civil only. But then again, when I tried to fix this particular bar, and it failed twice or thrice, because this construction is 50 years old and it is load bearing. Now half of you will simply ignore, I am from mechanical, I am from ENTC, how does it matter? It will matter, yeah. Right? Today if another 10-15 students join, I am planning to start another batch. Barabar hai? Right. But instead I say that why not break this wall? देखा है ना मुन्ना भाई, उसमें बोला है ना उसने जरा ये वॉल सरका देते हैं like that. But I can't. It would have been possible if it is RCC. And these words are common. For this, as an engineer, you should have a special thought, because you are going to call yourself, even a computer engineer is calling himself as computer engineer and not Bachelor of Computer Science. That engineer word will always matter. So it is reinforced cement concrete. So what will happen into it? There could be columns, there could be beams. You will find that इथे beam है. So many people say, अरे beam असा उभा कसा असेल? हाँ, anybody else, commerce graduate says कि इथे beam है तो समझू शकतो. Right? We as an engineer, we always speak in proper. Column is always vertical, beam is always horizontal. So इथे beam कसा असेल? Right? And when they say that this is load bearing, that means there is no reinforced cement concrete. The first floor is built, then on top of it second. Whereas when you see RCC constructions anywhere, you will simply find that the structure is fully there and then the brickwork is done. So those bricks really won't carry any load. Right? So breaking that particular wall will be easy. That won't harm the structure. But here if I remove this particular wall, another 10 days the entire building will be down, right? Right? And the mechanical people, you will see everything around you which is made up out of machine only. Right? Everything. You name the thing and it is made through machine. And so mechanical people, when they join mechanical, they don't have exactly the idea why we are joining mechanical. The reason is simple. We have a large variety of machines, that to very specific and special purpose, which in my future I might be required to design. And then I can't say that I can't do that. You need that particular understanding. Mechanical people, they like he has that particular chain, right? बराबर है. हम ये chain कैसे operate होता है? We don't know. Do we? If that chain breaks by chance, then we are unable to fix it. Does it have strength? Yes. Once it is closed, you try to pull it. It doesn't open up. And it opens up very easily. We don't think. We don't look at it. Right? So, becoming an engineer is not an easy task. Okay, getting the degree is the easiest one. You will be very well engineers. Right now I will say that down the line 4 years you will all have BE degree in the respective branch. But then in future we will have to have that strength to call ourselves as engineer. We may not be knowing each and everything, but whenever such a thing comes in front of you, we should be eager to know it. I am not saying eager to design it. I should see how does the things work. Right? Even this wristwatch, forget the mechanism inside. We are still unable to remove one link from here and we go to some wristwatch maker and he does in 2 minutes, right? And we can't. And we call ourselves mechanical engineer. Brother, electronics people, they have got a lot of things ahead of them because we are still a bit lagging in that particular area. Computer people, they already have a lot of things done ahead of them here in India by Indians. In electronics also we do have some things done over here, but still you know that China is always the leader and we are still lagging behind, even cost wise also. Now the subjects which we have. In the first year first year is not FE, right? First year is first year, and FE is foundation of engineering. That's why it is FE. It is a long story, long time back. Even prior to my admission 30 years back. So 34 years ago it was the situation that everybody used to get admission to engineering, right? No branch known. So you select the college. You go for COEP, you go for MIT, you go for PICT. There are 600 seats or whatever, their division is there. You get the college. Fine. Once the first year is over, based on your first year score, you will be allotted the branch. And that was the most appropriate thing at that time. Right? Because what happens is, you are from ENTC branch. In first year, foundation year, we have subjects like Maths 1, Maths 2, first semester, second semester. We have got graphics in the first semester, elements of mechanical engineering in the second semester. So 4, electrical, electronics 6, physics, chemistry 8, and civil engineering and mechanics 10 subjects. And we also have something called as FPL, fundamentals of programming languages, and we simply ignore it because it has got only online exam, no written exam and something like that. Computer people, you should be very much careful, and even others also, because that syllabus contains C, C++ and whatnot, the fundamental things. The online exam will be conducted. You will either pass or kaise bhi aap aage to chale hi jaoge, right? And then when you go to the second year engineering, whether your branch is computer or ENTC, the person starts teaching you the subject like data structure, which is there for ENTC also, computers, IT, all of them. And we simply say that you have done it in FE, so let us go ahead. And first year teacher says that you will be learning it in detail, so why should we cover now? So ultimately you end up with a situation, what do I do? So probably we won't depend on them, we should do it in first year itself, or second year will be tough. You are in ENTC and you find that fundamentals of electronics engineering itself is a tough subject, and you are hardly scoring 40-45 marks, then what's the point in choosing ENTC? Mechanical person, he is not scoring well in graphics, he is not scoring well in mechanical engineering, and we say that I am going to be mechanical engineer. So that's why I say that introducing all the engineering branches in first year is a good thought. Somehow we are with the branch in FE, and we very well, so that's why earlier things was important is you used to study all the subjects thoroughly, because I am required to choose my branch, what I like. We have entered the branch not because we like it. We hardly know anything about them. We have simply chosen it with one concept, one perception or the other. And we are there. And now when we start studying that fundamental, what happens is when we say elements of electrical engineering or basic mechanical engineering, it will contain practically everything that is there in mechanical. It starts with thermodynamics, it goes to boilers, it goes to heat transfer, it goes to machine tools. It has got everything. Electrical engineering, it is the same way. It has got transformers, it has got motors, everything into it. Electronics is the same way. So we are giving you the overview. Okay, this is what that particular branch is containing. And then we should perform well in at least our subject, and we should not ignore other subjects. One time or the other in your life you will have that all these branches are going to merge together, because we can't work alone. We simply can't work alone, right? There has to be some application, and that application could come from the core branch. It could be automation of some machine, and then we will be looking for electronics engineer, we will be looking for electrical engineer. And if it is a big machine, then we will have to look for civil engineer, because that foundation has to be strong. Because a lot of time, you ever know, have you ever imagined, okay, there is a big RCC structure below, a block type, and a big machine is to be installed onto it. A very big machine, say of the size of this room, or say half the room. Chalo. What happens is, if I am to fix that particular machine onto that foundation, so that those bolts should not move, while concreting it, those bolts are placed. This observation you should have, because even on the streets, whatever those big poles they are fixing up, they have that concrete structure and those two bolts, 4 bolts, and then that pole is fixed onto it. Over there it is easy because pole is not having that much weight. But when it is a machine, how are you going to place it exactly? And that too, it is not to be installed in open air. It will be a room like this. So you can't get the crane inside, because with the crane it will be easy. You will just lower it, you will adjust it, and it will be fixed. So how do we do it? And it's not a question of whether you are mechanical engineer or civil or electronics. It is just the question as whether you are engineer. I can get that boom of the crane and I will place that machine. I can hold it above it, right? But there is a limitation, because I can't lower that boom and cannot be placed. So I have just brought it inside. Yeah, अब मशीन तो है ऊपर टंगा हुआ, नीचे फाउंडेशन भी है, वो बूम नीचे नहीं आ सकता. नहीं पता होगा, पता है. What they do is they bring ice blocks, and ice blocks are placed onto that concrete structure, and onto that they place the machine, right? And that as that ice starts melting, it melts slowly, so as it comes down we can easily adjust it, move it, and it is fixed. Nothing else works. I have seen people almost waiting for 4 days कि install कैसे करेंगे अब. And because I have seen it, I said it's easy, कर सकते हैं हम. It was a boiler to be installed at that time. So the things will help, and you will have to keep in mind how the things are related, right? So we even comment we have 3 maths, M1, M2, M3, right? I had even one student who said that I have done everything. M1 में जो कुछ भी है हमने किया है 12th में, वो JEE में था, like that. But ऐसा नहीं हो. This is a totally different thing. Matrices आपने की है, मुझे पता है, but up to a particular level, right? We never, हमें whatever we have learned in 12th, that was maximum 3/3, एक आध problem 4/4. Here we have 50% problems which are 5/6 and what not. अब क्या करेंगे? As an engineer, why that is a thing? Because in future, even computer engineers, mechanical engineers, electronics engineers, we come across the number of equations which are to be solved simultaneously, and that number may start from 8-10 equations to thousands of equations to be solved simultaneously. Somewhere you must have seen something like a wire model, wire frame, or देखा है कभी? Made up of triangles. It is generally done in the analysis of some structure. So they call it as triangulation. Mesh is the word used. And then what happens is load is applied from one side, and that load will go through those each small elements. Every time there is some force, some stress getting developed, and we want to study it, where it is going to fail if this is my design. Now this involves computer engineer also, because we use software for that. I can't solve 10,000 equations simultaneously, right? That is not possible. And computer engineers don't understand the use of it only. They don't understand why mechanical people are doing this. And these type of applications are there from mechanical, these type of applications are there from civil, those applications are there from electronics, from everywhere. Okay, and so that mesh, we have every equation having 3 unknowns because there are 3 nodes, and like that from top to bottom we have got some 10,000 equations, and now we say solve, and we get stress at each and every point, deflection at each and every point, and it is solved in how much time? Hardly 8 to 10 minutes, 10,000 equations. And to solve those 10,000 equations, we will have to start with somewhere 5 equations, 6 equations to be solved simultaneously. In exam paper, they will still come down to 4 equations, 5 equations. There could be something like 6 equations having 4 unknowns. Then obviously one has to confirm whether they are consistent or not. You have heard the word consistent, yes. But the parameters which you have used in 12th for 3 equations, 3 unknowns, those are not applicable universally. Over there you could be checking simply mod A. Finding mod A and whether it is not equal to 0 is easy task for 3 by 3. Now finding mod A determinant for a 5 by 5 itself is a big task, because if you expand that 5 by 5 matrix in the form of determinant, there will be your first element into 4 by 4 determinant. So you will have 5 4 by 4 determinants. See the amount of work. Each 4 by 4 determinant will have 4 3 by 3 determinants, and each 3 by 3 will have 3 2 by 2 determinants. Ab karo solve. So the things won't work. We know that mod A should not be equal to 0 for equations to be consistent. Fine. But we are just stuck up. So we will be learning some new techniques. We will have to speed up ourselves, and that speed is to be catched right from this unit 1, because you will study unit 1, we will solve all the problems, then unit 2, unit 3, we are covering this course in 1 month, and then we will be revising it throughout the semester. But by the time you appear for the final exam, आपको solve कब करना है ये matrix? At the end of the semester. Before that, after 1 month, you must have appeared for the online exam, and in online exam again I can't ask 5 by 5. See, this is a problem. Online में 5 by 5 पूछा तो आपसे होगा ही नहीं solve, because time constraint is there. So over there I will have to simplify it and ask you 3 by 3 or 4 by 4 with many zeros. Fine. So that is a limitation. But we believe that now I can solve matrices, and we fail in the final exam, because that 5 by 5 matrix we can't solve at that time. We solve almost 100 problems here, another 10-15 problems in the college, and in the final exam there is a problem. Same thing goes with complex numbers. Matrices, at least you have studied something. In complex you have studied some basic things, and that hyperbolic and their differentiation etc. we haven't studied. Again, that complex numbers has got one more part which will be in M3, which is complex differentiation, complex integration and whatnot. Hyperbolic functions will be there with everybody. Electrical, electronics, mechanical, we will always have the function coming up in the form of hyperbolic, sinh and cosh, tanh, coth, secant, cosecant. Gone. We forget here in first year, we face problem in third year, and by the time we are in our branch in electronics or computers, some things like what is there, digital signal processing and other subjects, over there we simply come to a particular limit. Now you know how to integrate complex, and the concerned teacher will say क्या इसके बाद तो आपने पढ़ा हुआ है, so you do it. And we again face problem in the successive papers, because it is already there in the first year, second year. These mathematics papers are not, most of the students you will find around you saying that क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं maths, what is the use? It's not like that. Each topic, first M1 and M2 are common for all the branches, because those topics will be required by every branch. Whereas M3, a few topics, differential equations, vectors are common, and 2 topics for each branch are different. Somebody has Laplace, somebody has probability, somebody has statistics, somebody has something else, Fourier transform, Z transform and whatnot. So maths is very much required. Engineering graphics, though people have the concept that only mechanical and electrical people will require it. No. You won't require that type of drawing, say electronics people, but even all engineers, they speak in terms of the drawings only. May not be this graphics, but because electronics, electrical engineering, you will be drawing the circuit diagram, the layouts. Looking at them, you should be able to read it. Na? Somebody else has drawn something, you need to understand. You need to understand the symbol of each symbol. What does it mean? How does it perform? Computer engineers, we draw the flow charts. What is that? That is a graphical representation. In mechanical and civil, we directly have the object, so we draw the views. Because one view won't be. See, electronics people, it's 2D diagram. Okay, they use colors. मतलब एक वायर नीचे से और एक ऊपर से जा रहा है तो कलर्स या उनका कोई कन्वेंशन होता है ऐसे एक ये मार के, right? But in mechanical and civil we have 3-dimensional object in reality. So we will have to imagine it in that manner, right? Computer people, it is again 2-dimensional and to be expanded, just the algorithm. It is much more linear also, we can say, because it will be a flow from top to bottom, and if it fails, it is another line. If it fails, it is another line. And one should learn to think in this particular manner. That is something which is required by every engineer, though it is the sole property of what we can say computer engineers. They do study the algorithms, they do study the logic, they can write the code, fine. But even as a mechanical engineer, when I want to solve a problem, I will have to have some definite steps in your mind. We follow those steps कि ये करना है, because what is the problem statement? Problem statement will be simply to design a machine for, say, a punching machine, but it should punch what metal? Say 10 aluminum sheets of so and so thickness are to be punched with those 2 holes, say. This is the statement that we have. This is the only statement mechanical engineer gets. So the questions are to be asked as what could be the thickness of aluminum? Can it be used for something else? Right? Then what are the properties, shearing properties? Whether it is to be automated or is to be done manually. What is the difference? In automated, I can supply power and I can force that punch down. I don't have to apply the force. But if it is mechanical, then you will have to think there has to be so much leverage. क्योंकि अगर इतना सा पंच बना है तो वो कोई आदमी प्रेस नहीं कर सकेगा. He can't apply that much force. We have got a limitation. Say I can apply a force of say 30 newtons or 50 newtons. Then if that 50 newtons force I can apply, and if the required force is 5000 newtons, then what do I do? So at that time, that position 5000 newtons force is required. So I take the use of what we call it as the leverage. Right? So here if there is only 1 centimeter and here it is 100, then what will happen? It is 100 into 50 will be equal to 5000 into 1. So we have got a particular way of thinking. Why we want to become engineer irrespective of the branch is the simple reason, it is the ability of solving the problems. At least think in appropriate manner. So there is no haywire thinking ke ye socha wo socha ye karke dekha. नहीं. We find even most of the computer engineers, they are trying the programming कि ये करके देखते हैं, नहीं तो ये करके देखते हैं. Even mechanical students, those who are going for those Baha and other competitions of that car making, they simply do it like that. I got frustrated looking at them कि you try this, ये चासी बना के देखते हैं, वो चासी बना. ऐसा नहीं होता यार. You are engineer, right? We are not going to just make the assembly. even the computer people, we are not just going to assemble the different codes and make them work. Nahi hota. That thinking process has to be developed, and for that we are entering into engineering. Right? From second year onwards, you will be in your respective branches, and then over there the game will really start. In Maths 1, what do we have apart from this matrices, which is first unit, complex numbers, second unit, we have hyperbolic, we have partial differentiation, we have Jacobians, we have infinite series, we have these are the major topics. And the difficult one unnecessarily are there in first 4 units. So they just ask you one of the 4 choices. And the easiest one, partial differentiation and all, are there in unit 5 and 6. It is easy to differentiate, right? Differentiation hota hai humse, hum kar sakte. And that way we say that sometimes the syllabus is diluted because we are not facing the hard problems, though we will be doing them here. Why this particular course is important? Because we are not going to study for the online exam, we will be studying for the final paper. So we are able to solve everything. And now we face online, we can very well do it. Right? And just before online, even I will cover up all those online questions which are given. There is a set provided by every college. There is a set of questions provided by the textbooks also. So we will simply solve them, and you will even find that they are all copied paste here and there, same type of questions. You take one formula and they put 10 questions onto it. Oh, it is so irritating here. And जिसको basic पता है उसके लिए वो 10 questions नहीं है. This is only one question. Right? You have some formula, like what is the formula for cos 2x? We already have so many. Cos square x minus sin square x. 2 cos square x minus 1. 1 minus 2 sin square. अरे ये 3 हो गए. अब उल्टा. Cos square x is written as 1 plus cos 2x upon 2. Sin square x is written as 1 minus cos 2. We have 5 online questions. So 3 formulae cos square के, cos 2x के, ये 2 formulae, and every time what is the formula for? And क्या करेंगे? 1 plus cos 2x by 2, 1 minus cos 2x by 2, 1 plus cos x by 2. अरे there is no intelligence involved in it, right? You should know only one formula we are able to solve. Like that the online questions are set. They are meant to make you score. And people do score out of 25, 23, 24, 25, those who are lucky enough. Those papers are not distributed evenly because everybody get a different set of questions. Everybody. Right? It happened very badly with the mechanics students. That is subject in the second semester. There is a theory part, definitions, there are problems. One student gets all the problems, other gets all the definitions. Somebody gets a mixture. Then the one who gets all the problems can't score well because he can't solve everything, right? Whereas the one who is getting only the theory and say what is the unit of energy, what is the unit of power, if those type of questions you get. So what matters is even the luck, and that too our system is so good that every year in every batch I find that somebody is saying that sir wo aage ka question hi nahi aaya. If the question comes, the figure itself is not there and question is based on that figure. Ab kya karoge? And it is your login only. And you can't wait. So you will unnecessarily miss marks. So things are going to happen in engineering. It's not, and it is all again made by the engineers only. Right? The picture doesn't come. So what do we do? Sir, option click ही नहीं हो रहा, तो क्या करेंगे? जो हम अभी कर रहे हैं. We are making the payment for that online thing. Payment is done. Money is deducted. It is not reflected on the printout. And it says failed. पैसे तो गए ना. Now whose problem this could be? Should we blame the computer engineers? We can't, because it was working. Then what could be the problem? So have you ever thought of that problem? क्यों हुआ ऐसा? The problems could be two way. One is the server is not taking the load. If the payment is done, if your bank has accepted, so everything is going well till that moment. See, this is how every engineer should think. Now what is going back? The moment that payment is done, that Axis Bank gateway must be sending something back to the DT, right? And DT is unable to catch it. Got it? And if it is not catch, it could receive it, but by that time, if the DT software has failed to understand कि ये किसका response है, तो they won't add it to your account, right? And it is not added to anybody, क्योंकि that code is already there. मतलब किसके थ्रू गया था, क्या पेमेंट हुआ, एक्सेप्टेंस का वापस आ गया, लेकिन यहाँ सुनने वाला ही कोई नहीं है. So for you, and it is within the stipulated time, the response was not received. Failure is on the DT side, and we do blame this DT side with the simple reason because we are unable to see even our CET marks, our first step allotment also. It is crashed. Now what could be the reason? वो crash क्यों होता है? It is traffic, number of hits, fine. But then can't they provide it? अरे अब सोचो, अब अभी सोचो. If I provide the simultaneous logins for 50,000 students, I can do that? Yes, I can. Will there be cost involved? Yes, there will be cost involved. How many days I require it? 3 days out of 365. इसके बाद इस साइट पे फिर से लोड कब आएगा? नेक्स्ट जुलाई. अब मैं साल भर के लिए 50,000 का करके रखूं क्या? तो नहीं होता. एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई ऑलवेज से कि यार आज आया है ना, देखो ना बाद में 23rd से फॉर्म शुरू हुआ है ना, ऑप्शन भरना, वेट 2 दिन बाद भरते हैं, रात को भरो, पाव भाजी वगैरह खा के आओ, 2 बजे रात को भर देना फॉर्म. सो इट विल बी इजी, फटाक से भर जाता है. बट एवरीबडी लाइक ऑफिस टाइम दे स्टार्ट एट 10. सी इवन यस्टरडे एक्सिस बैंक वाज फेलिंग throughout the day because even ARC was there, right? The moment it is 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock people started making the payment and it worked, right? So when we work in our life, we will have to follow whatever is the system, we will have to understand it. This is how one should develop. हाँ, हम लिख नहीं पाएंगे बराबर है because we are not computer engineers. But we are able to understand the problem. That is where one should start. Okay, I should see the problem. I should understand the problem. In these 4 years, if it is problem related to my branch, I would be able to solve it. Okay, so one thing one should do right from today is make a separate notebook or whatever text file that you want to make on your machine or your mobile, and make a list of problems. This is what I have seen, this is what I have understood, that's it. That's it. And keep on watching that. हमें उसके लिए कुछ सोचना भी नहीं है, देखना भी नहीं है. हाँ, if you are really interested, you will go ahead. लेकिन हर दिन हम ये काम कर नहीं सकते. The moment semester starts, you will not get any time. But problem collection has to be there. बराबर है? Getting it? And it is, don't ever say कि ये मेरा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, राइट? और अगर आपको ऐसे लगा कि मेरा नहीं है, हाँ तो कोई ना कोई तो होगा ना यहाँ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का, तो उसको दे देना यार, तो उसके पीछे कुछ तो लग जाएगा, राइट? जो मैकेनिकल का होगा वो मैकेनिकल वालों को देंगे, कंप्यूटर वालों को तो हम हर रोज दे देंगे कुछ ना कुछ.